Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
What's up and welcome, good people. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
Yo, my name is Jay Ray, also known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. We are in person.
We are in person and you are tuned into Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. As we already said our names, and we are in fact in the same room together. This is not AI. This is all the way live. Jay Ray, you are here again in the ATL.
I am. It feels really good to be back in Atlanta. Although I have to say, Atlanta be having too much going on. It's always a lot of razzle dazzle. There's events, there's people, there's happenings and things. And I was just like, yeah. But I'm happy to be back. The energy is always good. Happy to see you. Happy to be in this amazing spot. We got to shout this spot out.
We have got to shout out CK Listing Content House. Our people, Cindy and Kirkland, have really put together a wonderful facility for all you content creators out there in the metro Atlanta area. This is the spot to be. They've got everything you need right here. We're in the podcast room. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally everything is set up for you. Basically, all you just have to do is plug in. And I mean, like I said, Cindy and Kirkland are content creators, so they know what content creators need. They got you. Definitely look us up, CK Listing Content.
Yep, check it out on
House.
Peerspace. Yep, CK Listing Content House on Peerspace. I'm so proud. So coming into this space, I'm really proud of the energy that they've put into it. It's a very creative spot. And listen, when you can get me and Sir Daniel sitting on one couch and we got room,
Comfortably,
you did something. So y'all did that.
and we're not scared that it's gonna,
Right.
nothing like that. Because we not on the light side, but we are heavy with the content. You like how I did that?
I like how you did that.
Thank you. Okay. So, real quick, J Ray, let the people know how they can keep up with this.
Absolutely. We're going to shout out Wani. Wani, we see you there in the chat. So, as you know, folks, to keep this train a running, we need your support. So there are a lot of ways that you can support Q Points. The first and easiest way is, of course, to just keep watching the show and make sure that you subscribe to it wherever you listen to your podcast, and definitely leave us reviews, star ratings. If you listen to a show and you like, yo, I really dig that show, drop a review on it. So then we know that, one, you listened, and two, you really dug it. Join the mailing list. So we are putting our show notes and stuff like that in the mailing list. So we're making it easier for you to stay in touch with all the stuff we say. Like, for instance, tonight, we're not going to be able to do that much posting in the chat. Right. Because we're here in person. It's not really set up like that. So you definitely need to be on the mailing list to get that stuff. The other way, you can subscribe to Q Points. We would love to have you subscribe. If you subscribe, you get access to all of our back catalog. Mm-hmm. This is our 85th show.
Wow. 85. All the way live.
And to that point, there is only like 12 shows available. for people to see for free. So if you want to see the rest of them shows and what Q Points has done over the years, you have to become a member.
You got to do it.
Definitely subscribe. And then last, but definitely not least, definitely going over to store.qpoints.com. Buy some merch. We've updated the merch with the new logo, so you can get some new merch or some new gear with the new logo over in our Q Point store. So those are all the ways that you can support us.
I love seeing our bag, our vinyl bag, our tote bag in the Chicago airport. I love that. Shout out to John Redcorn for supporting us and just making that happen. That makes us feel really good.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to see the new totes with the updated logos. When that's going to be really, really nice how the colors pop and everything. But J-Ray, let's just catch up on some things that have been happening across the nation. So you guys, if you subscribers are Platinum Plus subscribers. Well, it's not Platinum Plus.
Insiders Max.
Insiders Max, but you are Platinum in my book.
You are.
You've been keeping up with, you've been able to watch us talk on However Comma. And, we talked a lot about a lot of the tragedies happening across the nation and just a lot of weird things happening with lack of gun control, I should say. But the music has still been coming. I think over the weekend, let's just start in California with D Barnes, the legendary host of Pump It Up, which was one of the groundbreaking hip hop centered music video shows that ran in syndication. What's up, Carlton? We see you in the building as well. So D Barnes has had some struggles in the past, financially, keeping up with the archives of the show. She has sole ownership. Well, not sole ownership. I don't know what kind of ownership she has, but she has actual physical ownership of a lot of, I guess, reels and memorabilia of that show. Pump It Up. That's a lot of hip hop history.
Absolutely.
And she hasn't always been able to have space for the archives and where she lives.
Right.
I think at one point she was on the verge of homelessness. So wherever she's staying now doesn't necessarily have the space to house all those archives. So it was in storage. And like everybody else, sometimes you run into some financial hiccups, and she was in danger of having all of her storage, all of the archives auctioned off because she was not unable to pay for the storage fee. But she put the word out in Instagram and Twitter land, and thank God she reached her goal. She was able to keep all of her items intact. The storage is paid for. She even had Ducky from Pretty in Pink.
Wow.
What's the name of that TV show? Two guys and a kid.
What? Two men? 2.5 men?
2.5 men. That's it.
You like two guys and a kid?
I knew it was two something. So he actually retweeted her post. I don't know how it was. That's so dope. I don't know how he even said Pump It Up is a huge show, and it's hip hop history that needs to be preserved. So I am super happy on her behalf that she was able to keep those things intact, and I know she's working on digitizing them.
So it is so important. Pump It Up is the first. I discovered so much from Pump It Up because what was interesting about what Dee was doing at that point was you got a lot of underground stuff from the West Coast.
Yep.
You got a lot of stuff from the UK. That Pump It Up, and I think I talked about this on the show, that was the first time I saw a Tribe Called Quest. First time I saw a Tribe Called Quest, I left my wallet in El Segundo, came on Pump It Up, and I was like, who are these dudes?
Your world was rocked at that point.
World was, because it was so different, and that's what Dee was able to do. Her sensibility, I enjoyed watching her. because one, she was part of the culture with Body and Soul,
Mm-hmm.
but two, I liked her interview style. So, y'all, we have to support legends like D Barnes. Like this culture, we're about to talk about another iteration of it tonight, right?
Absolutely.
We're turning 50 this year.
Hip hop is turning 50 this year. I'm not 50.
Oh, I'm not
just
turning
yet.
50 either, but you
Not
know
just
what?
yet,
We
but
hip hop, Sir Daniel.
We are. But me personally, chronologically, I'm not 50 yet.
No.
I'm knocking on 50 in a few years, but yes, no. But seriously, you're absolutely right. The same way we spread all the retweeted and everything about the stuff that happened between her and Dr. Dre and the savage abuse that she received and the blackballing in the industry. The same way we spread all of that noise, we need to spread the word about her preserving hip hop history, and whatever is going to happen from here on out to help preserve that history, we need to get behind her and help out in whatever way that we can. I want to send some positive energy out to another West Coast hip hop icon, Sassy C, 1/3 of JJ Fad. Her house burned down tragically a couple weeks ago, and I know that there was a GoFundMe listed at one point. I have not seen any updates about it recently, but I do want to keep Sassy C in mind because, again, like I've said before, JJ Fad and other acts like JJ Fad throughout time have given us a lot of joy, enjoyment, and so whatever we can do to help out, let's do it. Because, hip hop, not yet, but hip hop doesn't necessarily come with like a 401k or a retirement plan for a lot of its elder statesmen. So whenever things like this happen, artists touring is their bread and butter.
Yep.
So, it's a tour here and there, a show here and there. Who knows what the financial story is behind the scenes? But if we need to help out, I suggest we help out. So I just wanted to talk about that real quick.
I'm wondering, because we actually have had this conversation a lot. We talk about it as business owners because Q Points is an LLC. Q Points is a business. We are small business owners now, y'all. We are using the facility of a small business owners as well, right? We have to circulate this dollar. I'm wondering what it will take, because we're talking about D Barnes, we're talking about Sassy C. We talk about so much stuff. Like, we're always putting out stuff, but it's like these important, really important things. How do we make space, more space for these things that need our attention, these things that are things that are positive, but also things that that people need help. Yeah. I'm really twirling with in my head, like, how do we make that a priority? You know what I'm saying? How do we encourage that people spread the good news, people support the folks that have brought them joy?
Well, we just start by leading by example. Mm-hmm. Q Points is going to lead by example. I think that's where we start. And hopefully we just start a ripple effect and people feel that and start making those changes. I want to say what's up to Ben Robinson is in the building.
What's up, Ben?
Ben Clock the Misfits t-shirt. We're going to get into that in a little while. But yeah, and, and thinking about, D Barnes and Sassy C and JJ Fad and that lineage of female MCs. Roxanne Shante just recently made a post pledging that on her platform on the Rock the Bells network for the whole month of March, she's featuring nothing but women of the culture.
Absolutely.
Nothing but female MCs, DJs, dancers, you name it. People, women of the culture she's featuring for the whole month of March. And that's major.
Yep.
That's major for an icon like Shantae to do, to continue to open doors now that she has this platform. And one young lady that I'm pretty certain will be walking through the doors is Ice Spice.
Yep.
And
'cause she in her mood.
She in her mood, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. The young kids, the kids are doing a whole thing. It's a whole movement, and they do a lot of these different things with their faces and hands. But you know what? Ice Spice quickly become one of those figures in hip hop that is very recognizable.
Yes.
Um, the sound is all hers.
Yep.
She's like really taking drill and giving it like
Like a sheen.
a girly,
Yeah.
still a girly but still trill kind of feel to it.
Yeah, so first and foremost, I dug the EP. I didn't expect to dig the EP. I thought it was well produced.
It's not long.
It's not long. Child, what our attention spans are like 5 minutes now. And no, Mike, you did not miss the conversation. Mike is like, did I miss the gym and the holograms conversation?
Yeah, Mike, I got you. I got you.
So I enjoyed the EP, and I am really fascinated kind of watching her move.
Yeah.
I feel like she's doing something different, which is really interesting to me because I felt like we had kind of seen it all, but I guess we haven't. The way her introduction I thought was really interesting. The music is catchy in a way that I would not have thought. And she's also been getting cosigns from folks that I wouldn't have thought either. So
she's got the recipe. She's got the perfect recipe right now to blow.
So to that point, I think this also reiterates the fact of the women are really running hip hop from a mainstream perspective.
Absolutely.
It's all about women in hip hop.
Absolutely. And we've been saying this for the past couple of years. We've been saying it, but it's been proven over the past 5 or 6 years that the ladies, like you said, are truly the marketable ones and the ones that are really holding down this industry and still generating a lot of coin. And the fellas need to catch up. Some of them have struck this happy medium with the viability of or coming up with very marketable music, being marketable themselves in their outward appearance and whatnot. So, and a little controversy doesn't hurt.
Right.
I like a Carisha Please too. Let me get one of those. But yeah, they just been doing it, and I don't think they're slowing down at all. I think they're really catching on to something that the fellas aren't catching on to just yet. Even when you have a vet like Remy Ma, who with her Chrome 23 is venturing out and creating more spaces for other women to come up. So it's just a really good time for the ladies right now.
It is. And I truly hope, I think something you said is really important. I hope brothers watch and learn. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wondering, it's not for this show, but I am wondering if there is something to be said about our ability to tap in and show a breadth of emotion. Because I think what's interesting about the ladies is they can be a little ratchet. They can also be hard. It's a lot of things.
Yes.
Whereas the only one that's kind of been able to do that from a male standpoint is Drake. Which is why, Drake is Drake.
So glad you brought that up. So apparently the show in Harlem was one for the books. So good that people were falling off the balcony.
That was the craziest video. Like, why? How did you get down here?
Sir, I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that person did that on purpose. Because now they're getting their little 2 seconds of shine, 2 seconds of fame. Oh yeah, I was the one that fell off the balcony at the Drake show. Ha ha ha. People will do stuff like that.
People are doing the wildest stuff for clout. We're not even going to talk about the craziness that happened on Twitter this week with that fake organization doing the parody account.
Wow. Yeah.
Hot foolishness. People are doing all types of crazy stuff for clout. But yeah, so this the week, of course, the big headline from that show is Drake, of course, bringing out Dipset for the show and paying homage. People were kind of giving them the business a little bit, like Drake inserting himself into a history he wasn't a part of. I see this as important to carrying their legacy forward.
Yeah.
That's what we need folks to do. Like, we have to have folks of now reach back and say, come on stage, Run DMC.
Yeah. Speaking of Run DMC, did you hear that they're coming up with
Yes.
a Run DMC is over show or something like that?
Yep, they're doing their final show. They are retiring as a group. They've kind of been semi-retired for a while since Jam Master Jay's death, but they're going to officially retire. They're going to officially cease to be a group, and they're doing a documentary.
Now, is this going to be like an Anita Baker retirement where she says I'm retiring? She got me. Did I tell this? She got me that one. What was that? 6 years ago. This is my final tour. This is it. Oh, let's all grab up these tickets because this is Anita's final tour. But here she go. Oh, she's about to tour again.
She out there now.
Right.
She probably doing the show right now.
Exactly.
It's my hope that happens. It is my hope that DMC and Rev Run get on that stage and people give them so much that they want to stay on tour. I truly do hope that that's true. Interestingly enough, I watched DJ Kenny Parker's YouTube this week.
I've got to get into that because he's a cool cat.
Absolutely. So definitely shout out to DJ Kenny Parker. He told this story. He's doing this thing of hip hop epic fails. This week was about times when BDP weren't the hottest people on the bill. Even though they thought they might be, but somebody else showed up and kind of like snatched
Stole the spotlight.
So one of the stories he told was, BDP, KRS-One, because this was by the time he had ceased to kind of call it BDP. They did a show, Madison Square Garden, right? And that was at the time when, it was one of Chris's last hits. It's going to come to me in a second.
The Step Into the World.
After that, it was on the album after that, because he had a run of like 2 albums where it was like back-to-back hits. Okay. Anyway, they did the show and it was like, listen, we were the only ones and he was like, we were the only ones on that bill that had a current hit, like a hit that was popping at that moment. Chris murked the show, but he's like, what we didn't expect was for Jam Master Jay, Rev Run, and DMC to walk out on that stage. And apparently, Rev was like, yo, DMC, they was trying to not let us in. They didn't know who we were in Madison Square Garden, right? Mm-hmm. And then did a whole thing and was like talking. The crowd was like, boo, whatever, boo, boo, boo. And he was like, tell them who we are, D. And he was like, I'm the king of rock. And he said the crowd lost it.
That's an automatic.
Right.
That's a cheat code, DMC. It's like, everybody's going to rap them on to, I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. And don't let the beat drop.
And the beat dropped, and he said they proceeded to, that was the end. He was like, that was the end of the show.
What can you do after that? I mean, because they've got a ridiculous catalog. And their legacy is real heavy, so you can't compete. I mean, it's nothing for Chris to compete with because he's got his own legacy, but that's awesome. You know who won? The audience.
The audience won.
Definitely. And our audience won last week, J. Ray, because last week's show on Paula Abdul, I know y'all, listen, y'all probably never thought about Paula Abdul like that ever before, but I know y'all are putting some respect on Paula Abdul's name because we dropped the needle on that Black music history for you.
And Paula was liking Cupid.
Paula Abdul is our new best friend. Paula Abdul and Jimmy Jam are our new best friend. And Cree Summers is your new best friend.
Oh my God, absolutely.
So I mean, hey, let's do that. But no, so we're moving on into tonight's discussion. But that show last week, we kind of ended off with Paula's legacy and how she did the first live action and duet with an animated person with the Opposition Track song with MC. Well, was he MC Skat Kat?
He wasn't MC Skat Kat yet. He was just Skat Kat
at the time. And that was the first.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, tonight we are talking about drawing conclusions, hip hop and animation, because J. Ray, hip hop and animation have been married for a long time.
Yep.
Hip hop and cartoons. First of all, we're talking about a whole generation. Our generation grew up on, I will say, the best cartoons ever. We had Hanna-Barbera.
Mm-hmm.
We had Marvel. We had everybody that you can think of that was doing cartoons at the time, doing animation. You know, Disney. Let's not even talk about the Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But we grew up on, I believe, some of the best cartoons of all times. In your canon, your childhood canon, what stands out as one of your favorite cartoons?
Oh wow. That's hard. So my favorite cartoons were. I'm gonna answer this, and can I? I want to pick three. I have to pick three things.
Sure. Let's do
Okay,
three.
so my favorite three cartoons are the Looney Tunes Legacy, the Bugs Bunnies.
Of course.
You give me a really good Bugs Bunny, because they were shorts, right? They weren't like full shows. You give me a hot Bugs Bunny short, I'm always going to be good. You add a Daffy Duck or an Elmer Fudd in there, I'm extra good. So definitely there. That's probably at the top. If I'm coming down like a level, I would definitely end up, I think He-Man is my number two, but Thundercats might be my number two. So y'all, okay, so He-Man or Thundercats. So let us know in the chat. What would y'all pick? I loved both of those. Okay. And then last, and I've told you this. This is a off. People are watching probably are not going to remember this one. Mask.
Mask.
It was during that period of time, and I know we're going to talk about this, but during that period of time where things changed.
Yes.
You know, you have a car, but it's not really a car. It's like a robot. Or these, in the case of Mask, their cars changed into like other things. So it'd be like a plane or a boat or whatever. For birthdays and Christmases, you could never go wrong in my house. Get Johnny a mask thing. Those things were expensive then too.
They were.
Yeah. But I had a few of those, but I would say those are my big three. So definitely the Looney Tunesy with the Bugs Bunnies and the Daffy Ducks, either Thundercats or a He-Man, and then Mask. What about you? I know one that's on, I know one that's on your list.
Listen, so yes, Mike, we're all tapped into our inner cartoon nerds right now. Shout out to Trey in the chat. Who else? I just saw. My sis Peppermint Gaddy is in the building watching. Okay, so if we're going to talk cartoons, yes, I like you grew up on all of that stuff. Tom and Jerry, the Looney Tunes, all of that stuff. But when I got into double digits, 85 was another magical year, because that was the year of, these were my three obsessions: Voltron, Thundercats, and of course, Jem and the Holograms. And the funny thing about Jem and the Holograms was Jem and the Holograms started off as like was it even 15 minutes? It was like a 10-minute short.
Yeah.
Because it was part of like a combo. Was it Mask or was it Wheel Warriors? It came on in conjunction with something else before, but then it got so popular that they got their own 30-minute cartoon. But yes, I was completely obsessed with all of those cartoons. Thundercats, Voltron. I'm going to get this out the way. I have a very embarrassing story to tell about how bad my obsession with Thundercats was. When I was in 4th grade, I wanted, of course, by the time Thundercats was in full swing, they had the toys. And so at the time, you could buy each line individually.
Yes.
and connect them to make Voltron. Or there was this some corner store in Brooklyn that had toys, and they had the whole thing on display. And children, all you have to do is put something shiny in front of them, and I was obsessed, right? Why did of course I asked for it and was told no.
Right.
But why, I'm so ashamed to say this, I took $60 out of my mom's pocket.
Oh, that is the best.
But wait a minute. Here's the worst part. I took the $60 and I took it with me to school. And I guess part in my subconscious, I knew I was wrong because I let people know I had the $60 and that I was going to buy it. But then I kept, because I've never had money in my hands, that much money or whatever, I kept playing with it or whatever in class. And my teacher, God rest her soul, Miss Gloria Nelson.
Oh my God.
Saw it. And she, of course, so sidebar, I went to a private school, 7-day Adventist private school, all West Indian teachers. They all knew each other. She was like, where did you get that money? And,
What did you say?
Blah, 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 lies, right? And clearly I was lying. So she said, you know what? I'm just going to call your mom and find out where the money came from. Whew.
Did she call? And she called your mom.
Of course she called my mother. And it was a wrap after that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I was just, that's just how bad my obsession was for Voltron. I really had this thing for Voltron, Thundercats, and Gem and the Holograms. I can even to this day tell you the lineup from by the time I got home from after school, what came on, and because it all came on in a series. So you had Heathcliff, which also starred, not Heathcliff, was it Garfield? No, Heathcliff. And then Heathcliff had, and we're going to talk about them.
Yeah. Riff Raff. And the Cadillac Cats.
And then after that came Voltron. Then after that was, I want to say G.I. Joe. I grew up in the tri-state area, so anybody can, if you grew up in the tri-state area and you can correct me, please do. But I think that was the lineup. Gem and the Holograms came on. I don't know who did this, but somebody decided to put Gem and the Holograms on in the morning when I had to be on my way to school. I was like, that's just ridiculous. Why would you do that to me? But I've said all of this because we are hip-hop generation, and we grew up watching cartoons, and at some point, hip-hop and animation began this relationship.
Yes.
And tonight we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, like that. One of the things I didn't think about in preparation for this show. So me and Sir Daniel, you saw this history that Sir Daniel just shared with y'all. He's unlocked so many memories because there's like things I'm like, I have these very high level memories. And then there have been things that he's mentioned. I was like, oh my God, yeah. And then remembering stuff. So I didn't think about hip hop as being part of it.
Yes.
Because it was just kind of integrated. So at the time of hip hop's ascent, you would see these sprinklings, especially around 84 is really when it started. You would start to see these sprinklings of hip hop showing up in cartoons. We talked about the Mr. T cartoon, which was fascinating to me. I forgot that cartoon existed. Mr. T had a whole music career where he was kind of rapping.
Wow, yes. But his whole persona lent to hip hop.
Yep.
All the gold chains, the I Pity the Fool, all of that lent to hip hop.
Yep. And so all of these things were showing up in our cartoons. And one of the, I think, most important that still shows up to this day, and we've talked about it several times, but that is Inspector Gadget, I think.
Listen, Inspector Gadget, first of all, shout out to your best friend, Cree Summer.
Cree Summer.
I'm going to say that until Cree Summers is on the show and we're like really best friends with Cree Summer. But shout out to Cree Summer, first of all, because she is part of the culture.
Absolutely.
And absolutely, if you look at voice credits, Cree Summers has been in all of your favorite cartoons.
Beasting voices.
All of your favorite cartoons. We're not even going to... Penny, thank you, Carlton. Yes. What's her name? Veronica Pickles? Or no, this is after my time, after my cartoon time. But yes, she's been doing cartoons forever. But she was the voice of Penny in Inspector Gadget. Do you guys realize how heavy an influence the theme song to Inspector Gadget was to hip hop? I know the obvious recollection, of course, is the show by Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick.
Yep.
Obvious. But do you also remember Bad Boys featuring K-Love, who was one of the first female beatboxers on Wax ever? Bad Boys featuring K-Love, and they had a song called the Inspector Gadget song. And then there was also a Profile Records recording group called the Cartoon Crew, who put out basically a lot of hip hop beats and songs. This was really during the breakdancing phase of hip hop. They put out a couple singles on Profile Records. One was called the Batman song, and the other one was, of course, the Inspector Gadget song. So here we see hip hoppers, like hip hop in its early form, taking a lot of cues from theme songs of cartoons, because a lot of that stuff was just really dope.
Yeah, and I mean, it was to the time when we were growing up. Many of us, I mean, this was on when we got home from school.
Yeah.
And the cartoons, to your point, I forgot there was the whole morning cartoon thing before you went to school, right? Yeah. So all of our favorite rappers were growing up in the same way, right? And then hearing these sounds that are like, ooh, I can turn that into a beat, or I can use that in a rhyme. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was just an interesting time. Like when you brought up, so first of all, can I bring in some of these comments? Because y'all are going ham in this chat real quick. So real quick, Silverhawks, Carlton, I forgot all about Silverhawks.
I had Silverhawks too, Bionic 6, all of them.
Ben, of course, Ben said Heathcliff was the Black Garfield.
Yep.
That is so true. Wait a minute, what are the Beverly Hills Teens?
Beverly Hills Teens was like another vehicle for some dolls that they were about to put out. And it was a lot of the same stuff. This was before Beverly Hills 90210, just like a cartoon about rich kids living in Beverly Hills, and they had this really rocking theme song. I remember the theme song, but they were Beverly Hills teen kids, and that came on in the morning after Gem and the Holograms. I remember that much.
So since Ben mentioned Heathcliff, I think this is the perfect time to talk about Heathcliff. Was for me important because Garfield, when I was a kid, was kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because Garfield, all he did was sleep and eat lasagna. I just was not into it. Heathcliff had adventures.
Because remember, Heathcliff, no one could terrorize the neighborhood like Heathcliff. And Heathcliff took a lot of cues, specifically Riff Raff and the Cadillac Cats, took a lot of cues from hip-hop, even the way they dressed. Like, Riff Raff had the fat Applejack hat to the back.
Yep.
Cleo used to wear the leg warmers because they were a breakdancing crew.
Yep.
They were a breakdancing crew, and so you would see hip-hop already seeping into the mainstream through these cartoons, and it kind of, they were informed definitely by hip-hop. While they were living, now it's kind of, was this racist because they were living in a junkyard?
They were living in a junkyard. It was kind of racist.
They were thieves.
Right.
They were like really living on the wrong side of the tracks. Yep. They were hanging with like all the bad kids. And so, but it was still dope to see that kind of iteration of hip hop being seen in animated cartoons that we saw on a daily basis. But now, so one thing, okay, I profess my love about Voltron, but Voltron was not the only big boy robots on the block. Now, I think it was Ben that mentioned what was it again? Robotics, or I can't remember the name. What was the name of that show? Robotech. And Robotech was kind of more on the on the anime tip, because it
That's
got
a whole
that's a
other-
whole nother.
Yep.
And I wouldn't even venture into talk about anime because that's not my genre. But Transformers hit the hood so hard.
My God.
A lot of dances
Yep.
were created off of movement from the Transformers. But then on top of that, do you all remember the Transformer? Was it Optimus Prime that had the boombox?
It wasn't Optimus Prime.
His
I
name was
can't.
Boombox. Wasn't
I think it was the name.
If you know in the chat, let us know.
But he had the tape in there that would come out.
And
Yeah.
Either it was it Starscream or tell us in the chat.
Yep.
Who was the robot that popped out of that was a cassette that popped out of his chest and transformed into another little robot, and then. Okay, well, we need the name. If you remember the name, let us know. But that Transformers, and you could see when they released the Transformers movies wow, time has flown.
Yep, it's almost 20 years ago.
It's almost 20 years ago, the live action Transformers. It was so popular because our generation grew up on that, and a lot of Soundwave. Thank you, Mike. I knew Mike would know. A lot of us grew up from the hip hop generation, made it popular. So those movies, they have us to thank for making those movies popular. But yes, so Transformers was huge.
Yep.
We were making a lot of the beatboxers were imitating the noise of the that they were making, and then Craig G. Of the most famous for being a part of the Juice Crew, a Juice Crew legend, in his early days on pop art, released a record called The Transformers. The Transformers.
Yep.
And so again, we're seeing animation creeping into hip hop and hip hop creeping. It was simultaneous.
It was simultaneous. This was not when you break it down, it was moving at the same pace because we were growing up with this. So you can't escape it. So by the time we get into 1990, right, hip hop is now proven itself as a viability in pop culture. It's hitting on the charts. So it's only natural that rappers now become animated. So it's not just we have these characters, right, who kind of have hip hop intertwined in it. We're now like, oh, well, I guess we can animate rappers now.
Absolutely.
So coming out the gate, so turns out the Kid and Play were the first animated rappers. I forgot about this show. I watched, I was like, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun because it was just really like the adventures of Kid and Play, but not really like entertaining. And can I take a pause? Did we notice that in animation there were the same voices? Like I felt like there was a lot of similar voices across cartoons.
Right. Yeah, because voiceover work, like we said, Cree Summer.
Yep.
Basically bodied the game. She was everywhere. Her and Phil Lamar. Phil Lamar is another black voiceover actor that did every cartoon you can think of over the past maybe 30 years now. Phil Lamar voiced them. But yeah, I think the Kid and Play cartoon didn't resonate with us, or maybe didn't resonate with me, because I was a bit older then. At that point, Kid and Play had done the movie.
Yep.
We were like, I was at least 10th going on 11th grade. So cartoons, I wasn't really rocking with cartoons like that. But to your point, Kid and Play are super marketable at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Their household name, their look alone lends to a cartoon, especially Kid with the high top fade.
Yeah.
That's automatically a cartoon given. Did they have a cereal?
I don't think, you know what? I don't remember. Did Kid and Play have a cereal? I do not remember that.
Because it makes sense. If you're on Saturday morning cartoons, of course you're going to want the cereal to eat along with your cartoons that you're watching that day.
Yeah.
But I think that the music was kind of on a decline at that point,
Right.
because we've only really got 2 albums out of Kid and Play.
Yeah. So that was probably around because the show was only one season. And not even a real like season. I think it ran for like a fall, you
Yeah.
know? So testing it out. So there was a lot of things changing. But Kid and Play though, not for nothing, set up MC Hammer.
Absolutely. And that was really a no-brainer. We
Yeah.
knew that was going to happen because Hammer Hammer was animated.
Completely.
The dancing,
The shiny suits.
the shiny suits, the big smile, his whole persona, his image lent to a cartoon. And I think, of course, that added to the backlash, the Hammer backlash.
We have
Because
to talk about that.
not for nothing, y'all was not feeling MC Hammer back then, but MC Hammer really is the reason why a lot of your faves today can be millionaires. I think we really have to give that man his propers, because he really laid down the blueprint for a lot of millionaires today.
So thank you for bringing that up, because I think this is really important. At the time when you have a Kid and Play and an MC Hammer becoming cartoons, hardcore hip hop fans did not like that.
At all.
You were selling out, you were becoming pop because pop was not what you wanted to be in the early 90s. And so as you're watching these rappers make these power moves in Hollywood, you would have hip hoppers like They Not Real, you know, they turn in pop, and you would face this backlash. And I think Hammer became the poster child.
The punching bag.
He became the punching bag, and truly, and if we remember behind the music where they were like, Hammer was paying his whole neighborhood to work for him.
Listen, he really, now when you mentioned earlier about the dollar circulating in the community, Hammer really was circulating that money. He was even paying people that didn't really even do anything, and that might have been part of his demise or financial demise, and he'll say that himself. But he really and truly believed in what Billy Paul said, let the dollar circulate. And you're absolutely right, Carlton, third base, he got the gas phase.
Yep.
He pop goes the weasel.
Yep.
He was the target for everything. I'm surprised they didn't do a Vanilla Ice cartoon, or was that coming?
I really do think there might have been a Vanilla Ice cartoon. Or Vanilla Ice, if he didn't have a cartoon, he had a cereal. Let us know, was there a Vanilla Ice cartoon or cereal?
We know he had that awful movie.
That movie was bad.
Terrible. Now, if you feel brave and you want to confess that you saw the movie, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. We will not judge you if you saw, what was it called?
I can't even remember what that movie was called, but it was trying to be like a serious film too, on top of it.
Was it? God, no.
Right. What was his album? 2D Extreme.
2D Extreme.
You know what this is? This is a sidebar, but we may have to talk about hip hop, the initial forays of hip hop into film. We've talked about it here and there, but I'm thinking about, there's some interesting stuff that happened in the 90s. There's some films that y'all might not be aware of, god awful films that y'all might not be aware of, but hip hop was really doing some things. So, okay, another voice that showed up in the early 90s. Well, one, we put this up. Bebe's Kids became an important moment in hip hop for animation, because you have the Bomb Squad, folks from the Bomb Squad producing on that soundtrack. You have MC Serch writing rhymes. You have the kids rapping in the cartoon.
Marcus
Houston was from Immature, was one of the voices. Now, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. It's probably terrible and a little cringe, but but I'm sure Bebe's Kids. But at the time, Bebe's Kids was really important to hip hop.
It was, because Robin Harris was important to hip hop, because he was a Def Comedy Jam legend. He was in House Party.
Yep.
God rest his soul. He was in the first House Party. Unfortunately, he passed away before he could really his full stardom was realized. But Robin Harris was definitely important to hip hop. So Bebe's Kids is synonymous with hip hop. For sure. And when you started talking about voices, I of course started thinking about Tone Loc.
Tone Loc, who was right. So we got introduced to Tone Loc in Bebe's Kids as a voice actor, and then he becomes really important to cartoons.
Absolutely, because after a couple records, Funky Comedina is a legit hit. Wild Thing is an iconic hip hop song. Of course, after a while, hip hop, like Hammer, like Kid and Play, hip hop was moving in another direction, and the audience really wasn't feeling them per se as rap artists because they figured, oh, y'all was just pop, and now here you are going Hollywood. So Tone Loc went all the way Hollywood, did TV shows and everything, and of course, when you have a distinctive voice like his, super gravelly, of course you're gonna be turned into a cartoon. But then he was turned into like a teddy bear cartoon. Like
was
Sea Bear.
Sea Bear and Jamal.
So he was a teddy bear with imagine a cute cuddly teddy bear with that voice.
That voice. Hey, Sir Daniel. I'd be like, what?
Again, we were too. I think we probably
we were both. We
old.
were like grown.
Definitely in high school at that point. So if you watch Sea Bear and Jamal, drop it in the chat. Let us know what you thought about that particular cartoon. But again, definitely a platform or an avenue for rappers who are known for their voices. Rap artists doing voiceover work is like a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Like
MC Lyte opening up the BET Awards is
no-brainer.
a no-brainer.
Because part of the especially for rappers, like one of the things that makes rappers distinct is their voice. I was always surprised that Q-Tip never ended up in there. Q-Tip was I'm sure he was offered, he probably said no. Because he would have been another voice that would have made a perfect in a cartoon setting, because it just worked that way. But of course, by the mid 2000s now, hip hop is solidified in the culture.
Yes.
It is the culture at that point. And the Boondocks now come to TV. So they go from the pages of the comic book and come to television with Regina King and John Witherspoon. Those voices appearing, and both of those folks too are iconic in hip hop, right? So you have these folks coming and presenting this show that takes it to another level.
Because the Boondocks was revolutionary in the topics that they touched. The Boondocks is definitely not a kid's cartoon.
Nope.
It's not a kiddie cartoon by all means. And they were able to lampoon a lot of hip hop artists, especially Thugnificent. So all the fans of the Boondocks know exactly who Thugnificent is. And because at that time, hip hop literally became a parody of itself.
It really did.
Hip hop was really making fun of itself because a lot of the stuff that we were doing in the early 2000s was lame,
right?
Very lame. And
Sir Daniel,
and
why are you gonna let the people have it like that?
I mean, it was lame and self-serving. Not saying it's not a classic, but it was lame and self-serving, and so it lent to the Boondocks being able to parody it and make a lot of social commentary about what was happening. Because when you become the culture, your skirt is going to get lifted up, and a lot of the stuff that was going on that was seedy and underhanded was getting exposed. That R. Kelly episode.
That R. Kelly episode goes down in history. The Martin Luther King episode.
And let's not... I cackle every time I think about the Tyler Perry episode.
The Tyler Perry episode. There are so many episodes of the Boondocks that go down in history, and all of those episodes have a foundation in hip hop. Like hip hop and animation go hand in hand, and and there were several. As we were talking when we were getting on, there were several music videos that incorporated animation as well over time.
Absolutely. There are several lists floating around. Double XL had their own list. Several different publications put out a list of the best animated rap videos, but we're going to share a couple of them with you. First up is Kanye West. He had two. Good Morning and the Heartless videos. Those were animated. Remember the Slick Rick behind bars video?
Yep.
Not video. Well, cartoon video. I think most recently one of the more gut punching videos was Jay Z's the story of
Story of
OJ,
OJ.
which really
I'm not black, I'm OJ.
I'm OJ and use that old school, like really old school, almost kind of racist style of cartoon in which black people were portrayed. The Sambo. We saw the image of the Sambo and everything being used for that, and that was reclaimed through in hip hop. Though that was definitely a moment. Did you like the Tupac "Do for Love" video?
Well, okay, so the video is so funny. I barely remember the video. The song is one of my. This is sad, but it's one of my favorite Tupac songs. I feel like it's a very well done song.
Right.
So of all the Tupac songs that exist, "Do for Love" is one of my favorites, but I barely remember the video.
And so while we're talking about the marketability of hip hop, do you all remember how in the mid to late 90s, Sprite had kind of wrapped itself around hip hop and was like creating all of these various campaigns and were featuring hip hop? I remember feeling they did it in like a series, and we were all wondering, well, what's the next campaign going to be?
Yep.
Because we started out with the Deadly Venoms, which was so dope. You know, that excited me because it had all the female MCs as the 5 Deadly Venoms. And then they decided to do the Voltron. And they created Voltron cartoons to coincide with the Sprite commercial. And that Sprite campaign featured as the Lions, the Goody Mob, Common, African Bombada, Mac 10, and Fat Joe were the 5 lions, and they all formed to combine Voltron. And I think that might have been Sprite's way of creating unity, because that was the height of the whole East Coast, West Coast beef. So you had Mac 10 from the West Coast, Fat Joe New York, Common Chicago, Goody Mob down south here in Atlanta. And of course, African Bada is the heart of the center of hip-hop, which is New York. So listen, hip-hop has been an animation made for great bedfellows musically, and they made money together. They made a lot of history. Even other industries were taking cues like from hip hop, like the comic book, which is close to animation. Comic books. So we got to give a shout out to Chell. Is it Chell? What was his name? Okay, you guys remember the Marvel superhero, what is his name?
Oh, Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And the way that they marketed the new Luke Cage a few years ago was, remember, they made all those different hip-hop...
Just hip-hop, using hip-hop titles.
Using hip-hop titles for each episode. But it also inspired this... the revamping or using Marvel characters to recreate hip-hop album covers.
Yes.
So that was pretty dope. The Incredible Hulk, they used a whole lot of different Marvel characters. So, yeah, at that time, you saw the culture. Hip-hop became the culture, and there was a point where they were taking cues from... we were taking cues from animation, and then animation and the whole industry came to us.
Yep.
Towards the end to, like, really get getting to the money and marketing everything. We have covered a lot.
This is, yo.
Do not forget to mention the brother that we met at the Universal Hip Hop.
Oh, yeah. Brother Eric Orr, who created. So once again, since the beginning, this is an animation, this is a comic, but just thinking about the idea of Black folks seeing themselves as beyond, you know what I'm saying, us, you know what I'm saying, as humans. So Brother Eric Orr created the first rap comic, and it was the Rappin' Max, was the Rappin' Max robot. And It's really dope. Look it up. Check out the Rappin' Max robot, but it is the first official hip hop comic books that was created. And definitely check out Brother Orr's work because he's done a lot of work over the years and is very well regarded. But we met him at the Universal Hip Hop Museum. And so once again, too, as we wrap, thinking about being in the Universal Hip Hop Museum and seeing all these different representations of us in that space, I can't wait to see for the full museum how they bring in all of this stuff that we talked about tonight. We haven't even scratched the surface. We just talked about some of the stuff, but it's literally part of the culture.
Part of it, and very appropriate on during hip hop's 50th anniversary that we bring this up, because again, you will see that there isn't a part of American culture that hip hop has not permeated through. We become literally, that's how we became the large overall culture of this country and around the world.
Yep.
Because imagine all those cartoons, of course, have to get translated into different languages, and here we are doing the same thing. Records are being translated into different languages, and then, of course, when we go over there touring, that's a whole new different thing. I mean, wow, hip hop is amazing, y'all. Like, we just really, when you sit back and think about it, it's amazing.
And as a person who's I'm not an anime dude, but that connection is crazy. Like, there are so many lists that talk about the overlap between hip hop and anime specifically. As you said earlier, I don't have that degree. Like, I can't have that conversation. But if any of you who are watching or listening do have that background and would want to chop it up about that, we want to learn about that.
Absolutely. Because Adult Swim is like 85% of their programming has a hip hop lean to it. Like, remember the whole Samurai Jack was Samurai Jack and
that was
Afro,
the RZA, right?
Yes, RZA, and then there was another cartoon about the a black samurai that was hip hop influenced. So listen, it's just on and ongoing. We just got to make sure that we still control it. That's the part right there. But
that's
anyway.
The part. Y'all, listen. Thank y'all for hanging.
Afrojack. That's
Afrojack.
Right.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. So remember, there are several ways that you can support Q Points. Make sure that you subscribe. If you like this content and you want to keep supporting what Sir Daniel and I are doing over here, please become a subscriber. It helps us to do what we do every day. Buy products at the store.qpoints.com. Join the mailing list so you can stay up on everything, and just make sure that you subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts. It's really important, and definitely leave us a star rating and a review. Once again, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Kirkland. Thank you, Princess, for this amazing space. So if you're on Peer Space in Atlanta and you're looking for a creative space to be in, this is definitely the spot for you. And it is what? The
CK Listing Content House.
Come on down here.
It's called the CK Listing Content House, and we want to thank them for being our hosts. Welcome back to Atlanta, J. Ray. I think you got some time to grab something to eat.
We're going, yes.
Let's grab something. We're going to grab something to eat. If you see him in the streets, holla at him. Same thing with me. Thank you so much for tuning in. But J. Ray, what do I say every week? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, y'all.
This has been Q Points, dropping the needle on Black music history. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.